Hi everybody, this is Warren Herman, and today I am going to be making a video about Our Lady of Fatima and Our Lady of Guadalupe, because I want to be sharing a few things tonight about how I believe that Our Lady can teach us so much about the nature of the universe and our place in it. Because Our Lady shares something of great importance with us at Fatima, many things of great importance, and of great importance with us at Guadalupe, revealing to us exactly the kind of world we live in and what we are meant to do with this world. What are we meant to do with this world that we're in? And so I believe that this can lead us into this. And so let me tell you a little bit about Fatima and a little bit about Our Lady of Guadalupe so we can come to some of this understanding of what this world is and our place in it. In the modern world, it's very hard to believe in these kind of things because we may struggle with these things for various reasons, because of different ideologies or just different ways of trying to make sense of everything that we've learned and trying to make sure that we get it right. It can be very difficult. And so what I really want to share is how Our Lady of Fatima can give us a perspective on the universe that is really important, and how Our Lady of Guadalupe can give us this movement toward what do we do with it. Well, Our Lady of Fatima reveals to us in a profound way what kind of world this is. There's a sense in which we live in this modern world, and there's almost a sense in which I think most people in the modern world would look at the world of the Old Testament and be like, this is phony baloney. That's how they would look at it. They would say, this is not real. Moses parted the Red Sea? Like, they're gonna be like, what? That sounds like a legend. That sounds like a myth. The thing is, what Our Lady of Fatima does is she shows a much different type of. It reveals to us the nature of the cosmos in which we find ourselves. So people there's these little children. They're beginning to have Our Lady is appearing to them. They're little shepherd children. They're very simple. She's telling them, oh, there's going to be problems at Russia. They don't even know what Russia is. They think Russia is a lady. So they're like, oh, it must be a lady. She must be very bad. Because Mary is telling them the errors of Russia will spread around the world. It's like because of communism and these type of, there's going to be wars and these different things. So she's prophesying these things to the children. And they're like, they don't even know what's being said. They're little kids, But the thing is, these little kids were chosen by Our Lady. So she chose them, she appeared to them, and she entrusted them with great truths, clear and simple truths. These little children dedicated their lives. Some of them have very short lives, like illness and stuff like that. When they suffered prayerfully and suffered so that people would be converted, so people would come back to God. They offered their suffering just like Christ suffered for us. And they prayed the rosary all the time. They were in that contemplative mode, always calling on Mary through the rosary. And she showed them things, like she showed them like in a very real way, like not like in a stupid way. She showed them in a very real way what hell was. Like she showed them and there's even the stories with the little kids, like there's actually like this monster gets out of hell during one of the parts of the apparition. She's showing them in there, like something that was like this yucky thing, I guess didn't like the kids, came out, and she just makes it go away. She's like makes they Mary gets rid of it. So there's all these like weird things that happen in these apparitions, and she's showing them like how important it is because because people just kind of go off into doing bad stuff, and they don't spend their life loving others, suffering for others, loving God. And she shows these simple ways, to just kind of have a simple life, a simple life of prayer and sacrifice, prayer and penance, meaning because the thing is that prayer is for our interior, and suffering is for our physicality. Because these little kids, like the rosary took care of their interior, and the fact that like one of them, like Francisco, he's now recognized as a saint. He suffered from an illness that took care of his exterior, that his body was disciplined, just like an athlete. The body is disciplined, and the body then becomes a servant of prayer and of the Spirit for others. And so he was able to integrate his whole, even a little kid became a little saint, in prayer and penance. That's how he did it. And he did that for everybody. He prayed like that. Um, and so, that's, and so, but at Fatima, you see, the thing is, these little kids, they were given these profound truths, but then people, came to laugh at them. People came to criticize them. People showed up, the newspapers came, everybody came, oh, look, these stupid kids. Some people, many simple people who believed in the kids were there to see what would happen when the apparitions happened. And there's also the miracle happens of the sun, where the sun goes all over the sky. The people are all wet from rain, and the sun actually goes down toward the earth, and the people, all the water evaporates out of their clothes. It's like, this is bizarre. Like, this can't happen. But what's happening is that God is like liquefying reality. The laws aren't as firm anymore. And it shows us that there's no reason to doubt that there is a seamless reality between the things that we can't even begin to, as modern people, be like, okay, yeah, right, these things have all the weird stuff happen in the Bible. Well, if the sun can be juggled around the sky, and we've got pictures, people looking up at the sky, like, whoa, like, what's going on? Or the sun is in the wrong place, than it ever is in the sky in Portugal at this event. It's like, we have pictures of this, and the people, the newspapers that were hostile to this, people who came to laugh at these people, saw this. So it's not believable that this didn't happen. I mean, it's even like, people, talk, this is a real event. And she prophesies many things, like the beginning of World War II, other historical events. And she says what we have to do is we have to pray, and you have to pray the rosary. And she gave all these different instructions, about the devotions that are necessary to help the world so that we can deal with these problems. So that's the type of world we live in. We live in a world that is not as normal as we think. We live in a world that is, where the sun can be juggled around in the sky, and everything just doesn't work the way we think. We live in a world that has, the ability to have those like biblical scale miracles in it. We live in a really weird world, not a normal world. And the thing is that we think that we have grown. We think that we have grown to be, past those stories. But the thing is that we are still living in one. We are still living in that story. And one thing that's really helpful, so sometimes, I've struggled many times with my faith. Many, many times in all different ways. I struggle with my faith a little bit all the time. But the thing is that there have been many periods where I'm like, wait, do I really believe? Wait, how do I know if I believe in God? Wait, okay. And then I was thinking, but how do I know this? Or how do I know that any of these weird stories happened? And one night I was lying in bed thinking about this. I said, how do I know? I mean, there's some things that there are really interesting validations for there, but the thing is, it's hard to find like scientific proof of some different things in the faith. Like, I mean, we could have historical proof, obviously, which is scientific in a sense. Pictures of the sun in the wrong place, pictures of people looking up at the sky. That's pretty observational there. That Fatima happened, and this stuff like that happened. People are opposing it or talking about that it happened. They can't explain it. It's like, so that's pretty clear there. But I was just kind of thinking about, well, how do I know things like in the Old Testament? How do I know this is true? And I was lying down and I prayed to Our Lady because I knew I should turn to her in my need. And all of a sudden, I realized a few different things. And one of the parts of what I realized had to do with Our Lady of Guadalupe. And here's Our Lady of Guadalupe. And the thing is that Our Lady of Guadalupe, she reflects different symbolism from the Bible, such as the woman clothed with the sun, with a crown of 12 stars. There are stars on her mantle, which is kind of like that. There's many other aspects of this image that are, related to things that would be recognizable to the symbolism of the Book of Revelation, for example. The woman clothed with the sun, for example. But the thing is, there's also a lot of symbolism in the image, which comes from the Aztec culture. So the thing is that when people saw this image, when the when the priests of the Aztecs saw this, they realized what it meant. They realized what it meant. And so the thing is that in this period, in the this was a period of conflict between the Spaniards and the natives, and Our Lady appears as a mestiza, as someone who is of mixed race. She appears like that, and she shows up in order to reconcile these people. And so, what is the purpose of our lives if we live in this universe which has this? It's weird and cosmic, and like it could be has this kind of weird world. What is the purpose? Well, the purpose is that there's this is not a random world. The fact that the Aztec culture was there is not like just random. Obviously this is an amazing miracle, because what happens? This image, I should probably have said this first. Juan Diego, he's a little convert to Catholicism. He's walking along, and all of a sudden he hears this music. He's a little native convert. I don't know if he was little. He just seems like a little guy walking along, and he hears this music, and he says, "Oh, maybe I'm in the world of my ancestors," because he hears this beautiful music, which was like there was the Mayan world of the ancestors. And all of a sudden, Our Lady appears to him and explains that she wants a temple, a church built in her honor on this hill of Tepeyac. And she tells him, "Go talk to the bishop, tell him what I want." And he goes to the bishop's like, "Who's this guy?" So he comes back. He's like, "The bishop doesn't want me to, doesn't believe me." I think the bishop says, "Hey, go and get a sign." And so he goes back to Our Lady, and Our Lady makes him find these flowers, which only actually grow in Spain, where the bishop grew up, but they're growing miraculously in the New World. He picks them up, puts them in his cactus fiber tilma, and when he brings them to the bishop, he opens his tilma, his little cloak, and this is the image that appeared on the cloak, like they just got like printed onto it. And so the thing is that Our Lady gives us, she shows, and the amazing thing is, this is like back in the early days of Spanish conquest in America, but there are actually microscopic images inside Our Lady's eyes. Scientific studies have shown that the image is just kind of on this tilma. It has not rotted over all these years when they've tried to reproduce this. It also seems to have a 98.6 degree body temperature, because there's a lot of weird things about the image. There's actually the positions of the stars make music, which may very well be the music that is that Juan Diego heard. There's all kind of weird stuff about it. There's like the tilt of like the relation between the sun and the earth is the tilt of her face. Like there's all these angles and things that are different, and there's a lot of symbolism. Like there's these symbols, like the fact that her leg is out shows the Aztecs that she's dancing, which was a symbol of that she was dance was a spiritual act for them. So this showed that she wanted to dance with them in a spiritual act. And also this thing that she is praying revealed to them. She's praying, but she's in front of the images for like their god of the sun and the moon. She's standing on, like there's all these things that she's standing on the moon, like so she's in front of their gods, but she shows that she's praying to show that she is not God, that she is not divine, that she is a creature, but yet she is pregnant with. And then this sash, I think the sash refers to the fact that she's pregnant. And there's even the constellations are also in here. And there's a whole story with the constellations. It showed that the relation between her cloak and the constellations showed like the Lion of Judah is like on her belly, because that's Jesus. Who's the lion? Leo is there. It's like there's all this stuff going on in this image. And you can see that what is this showing us about the world? The thing is that the mission of Mary, the mission of Christ, is the reconciliation of everything with him, through him, with him, and in him. It is reconciliation through him and through Our Lady, because Our Lady, who is bearing Christ, she is Theotokos, is the Greek term for her. She's the Christ bearer. She herself is like a cup holding the water of eternal life. She is herself not God, but she is one who is, and in a way, this doesn't mean that she does not have, great power. This means that this means that she is, she shows that about herself to them, so that they don't worship her, but that they venerate her and they love her. And she brings in so many people convert then because they understand this message. It was so beautiful also to realize that putting her image on the tilma of Juan Diego showed his importance as a person, showed that he was, because in the Aztec culture, what you had on your tilma showed your status. And she showed that he belonged to her. He was a peasant, but he belonged to her. And so that was showing how important this is, that our lives, each one of us has an important mission and a deep significance, and are cared about by our Lord and Our Lady. They care about simple people. They care about us all. They care about, those shepherd children of Fatima. They care about Juan Diego. They care about all these. They care about us all. And we have a place in this world. And our purpose in this world, which is this world that is not so much this rationalistic, like, world of science, but this world in which the sun can be thrown around. I mean, it is obviously, there is science and those things. I really like studying those things. But the thing is, this world is the world of Scripture. This world is the world of scriptural weirdness, where the sun can be thrown around in the sky, and Mary and Joseph can appear in the sky, and all this stuff. This whole weird stuff can happen like that. This is the world. This is what the real world is. And this world is a world in which we work for reconciliation through what Our Lady wants us to do, because there's a purpose to everything. There's a purpose to the Aztec culture. I mean, of course, look, do we want to, like, the things that were going on there, like, do we want to kill our neighbors and cut out their hearts? No. But there were things that could be redeemed. And she redeems the symbolism, the things like that. There's things that could be taken, cultural treasures that are there that can be taken, but, the heart, maybe we could leave the hearts in our neighbors, and give our hearts in a different way, so it's like we can take some of these ideas and we can bring them to another level. Yes, we give our hearts to God, not exactly like that. But the thing is, there's a beauty in this reconciliation. She doesn't come down to condemn, but she comes down to change. She comes down to show her love and her mercy and her reconciliation of all things. And that's our project. That's our project in the world, in this world of Our Lady of Fatima. This world where the sun can be thrown around, this world of the Bible. It's always, in the story of the Bible, and we'll talk about this in other videos, the story is always a story of bringing the order of Eden to the world, bringing Zion together, bringing the Jew and the Gentile together, reconciling God and man, bringing everything together. And Our Lady is the one who teaches us this way of reconciliation of all things. And I hope this video has been helpful in thinking about what our world is about and how our place is and our purpose is in it.